Hey, welcome in. Monday edition, President's Day edition, Bruce Hooley Show. We are in commercial on the radio, and we're going to get started here very, very soon. We'll be talking about the New York fraud verdict against Donald Trump, about a Politico, accidental journalism. What's going on with Politico? Coming after Joe Biden and Jim Biden and the Biden crime family. But we're going to start with, I guess what, an endorsement of mob rule in Columbus, Ohio. We'll see. But a march last night extolled in the Columbus Dispatch. Can't wait to get into it. And here we go. We welcome you in on a President's Day. I'm Bruce Hooley. This is the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. You can watch the show on the 9890 Answer Facebook page, on the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page, or on any of my personal Facebook pages, LinkedIn, Twitter. You'll find it out there, and we appreciate it. Some of the platforms stream it for the first hour. Those are my personal platforms. The others stream it the entire show. You can always catch the podcast at 9890answer.com. Click on listen, click on shows, and you will find it. Joe Biden visited East Palestine, Ohio on Friday. After our show ended, he drank tap water. Oh, the epitome of courage. And coffee brewed with tap water. Who says this guy's not with it? Who says this guy doesn't have the energy to be president? I mean, a man is drinking tap water. Wow. The epitome of valor right there. And now he said, we're not going home no matter what until this job is done, and it's not done yet. And then he beat a hasty retreat out of there so he could go to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and vacation over the weekend. So I think he was speaking collectively, we, not as if he is a part of we, because, of course, it took him more than a year to get there, and it took only a few weeks for Donald Trump to get there. Also Friday, after our show ended, we had a, I guess, second mistrial declared in the murder trial of former Franklin County Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade. The judge pulled a fake-a-rooney early in the day, said, I declare a mistrial. And then he said, no, you guys, you jurors, go back in the room, even though you're out of alternates, even though I've allowed a surprise last-minute witness for the prosecution who was watching the trial, commenting on the trial on Facebook, and then was a Johnny-come-lately telling us what he saw the day Casey Goodson was shot by Jason Meade. The judge said, I declare a mistrial. Nope, go back in there and keep deliberating. And then later in the afternoon, he declared a mistrial again. Now, the question about Jason Meade from here on out is, will he be tried again? I mean, the prosecution has already tried once. They got the benefit of every single possible benefit of the doubt from the judge that they could get. And they couldn't get a verdict. And there are a lot of curiosities, like why do you go through all four alternates that you have in the first, 2-3 days of deliberations? They had to keep starting over and starting over and starting over. Will Jason Meade be tried again? Well, last night in Columbus at Thompson Park on the north side, the Columbus Dispatch, Danae King reports, 100 people showed up at Thompson Park on the north side to protest and call for the retrial of Deputy Jason Meade. Now, I'll get into why I think it's a bad idea to let mobs make decisions like this. But first of all, what does it say in our culture today that a white law enforcement officer who shot and killed a black man, and nobody doubts that, Jason Meade is white, nobody doubts that Casey Goodson is a 23-year-old black man, and nobody doubts that Meade shot Goodson. What is at issue is whether Meade was justified in doing so, because his version of events that day is that Casey Goodson was waving a gun around, and when Meade followed him, because you can't have 23-year-olds waving guns around as they drive through the city of Columbus, or in this case, the neighborhood of Linden, where guns are all too common. Was Meade justified? And in a climate where a white officer is charged with killing a young black man. Let me just say that I'm surprised you could get only 100 people to show up on a Sunday night. Now, this is not Friday night. This was not the night of the mistrial. Friday night when the snow hit right at 5 o'clock rush hour and you couldn't get anywhere in town. By the way, shout out to you two foolish, idiot semi-drivers who decided it'd be a good idea to go tandem side by side on the exit ramp at 23 North, which is a one-lane exit ramp, and you held all the rest of us up for hours and hours and hours trying to get to 23. But it wasn't that night. It wasn't cold, snowy, nasty, can't stand to be out Friday night. It was chilly, cold, yet nevertheless clear, and certainly not an impediment to getting to Thompson Park Sunday night when only 100 people showed up. Now, the decision on whether to charge Jason Meade or not should be made solely on whether you think in the prosecutor's office, and we know how they think, they don't stand by their cops ever in the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, nor in the Columbus City Law Director's Office. But the decision should be made solely upon whether Jason Meade is reasonably guilty of not being justified in his actions toward Casey Goodson, not on the word of the day, kids, paucity, which means few people who showed up to protest this. If you're at the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office, and we know you are, wetting your finger and holding it up to the wind going, well, what if we don't prosecute? Are we going to get a bunch of pushback? Well, you're going to get letters. That much is clear from this story in the Dispatch. But my guess is if you only get 100 people, probably that's initial outrage and mustering up sympathy for Casey Goodson. And nobody's happy Casey Goodson died. But at issue is, did Casey Goodson act in a manner that caused Jason Meade to justifiably shoot him? And obviously, the jury had a hard time agreeing with the prosecution. Otherwise, we wouldn't have had a mistrial. We have mistrials because jurors can't reach a verdict. And we have mistrials in this instance really quick in their deliberations because it became clear that some number of jurors, and we don't know how many, were locked in on no, Meade was not justified. And we have some number of jurors locked in on no, he was justified. And there was no bridge to be built between the two. No convincing it could happen. And so the judge reluctantly, obviously, declared a mistrial. So they'd have to start all over again. But the 100 people who gathered, let me just give you a cross-section of some of them. One of them is a guy named Raymond Obie, Executive Director of Justice, Unity, and Social Transformation. He was an organizer of the event, and he said, that's why we came out here today to say the system is failing us. This might shock you as a listener to the Bruce Hooley Show to know that I 1,000% agree with Raymond Obie, Executive Director of the Justice, Unity, and Social Transformation Initiative. The system is failing you, but not in the way you think. The system is not failing you because, of course, you are swallowing hook, line, and sinker the tired lie that cops are out unjustifiably hunting down and shooting young black men. The system is failing you because, number one, the system, the Columbus Dispatch, is part of that system. We're going to get a lot of stories about Jason Meade and how Jason Meade should be charged again, and community organizers, and their shrill protests about Jason Meade. You know what you're not going to get in the Columbus Dispatch, even though I challenged them today on social media to do it? What you're not going to get on the Columbus Dispatch is any backstory, and I would find this interesting. Would you find this interesting? What kind of effort was marshaled in the aftermath of the Amber Alert issued for the young 5-year-old child who was killed by his foster mom? Now, I bring this up only because it has to be brought up for apples to apples comparison here. But there we have a 5-year-old young black child killed by, allegedly, she's charged with murdering this child, the black foster mom. Would anybody find it interesting to know what kind of resources the Columbus Police Department marshaled to try to find the young child? Would you be interested to know? Because I know, because I've actually done what the Columbus Dispatch should do, is I've researched this through my police sources to find out that there were police officers who worked 36 hours straight, desperately trying to find this young child. Did you know that one of the higher ups in the Columbus Division of Police, and I can't give his title because I don't want to give away who he is exactly because I don't have his permission, but did you know that it was not like a street officer who crawled down into the sewer where this foster mother placed the boy, or at least that's what she told police she did? Would you like to know, like, who that officer was, what his rank was, what his race was? I would like to know that. I do know that. And I know you won't find it out from the Columbus Dispatch because they won't bother to report it because it doesn't fit their narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative of Raymond Obey, Executive Director of Justice, Unity, and Social Transformation. Nor does it fit the narrative of Emily Cole with the Action Fund of Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality. Because they will say, they will dismiss that. Well, those guys who were working 36 hours, that's their job. They're just doing their job. Maybe Jason Meade was doing his job too. Certainly looks like that from the evidence in the case.
Sunny this afternoon, the high today at 42. The sunny skies tonight and about 24. Hardly sunny day tomorrow. A much milder day, the high at 51. Mild again on Wednesday, times of sunny clouds, high 55. Periods of rain, looks like a breezy afternoon on Thursday. High Thursday afternoon, 52.
Aaron's going to have a more detailed OCU for you.
Okay. All right, sounds good. So this is soft step, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And Josh is 12:35.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it should time out exactly right. Should be self-contained.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to have more on the way that people like Raymond Obey and other organizations like this are being failed by the people who are in power in Columbus. I'm not giving an opinion here. I'm giving numbers. I'm giving stats. I had 4 shootings in Columbus over the weekend. 4 within and they don't even write about it. It's not even written about in the paper. 4 shootings. Just another night in Andrew Ginther's Columbus. We'll be right back. Got to grab something off.
614-599-6100. I promise you won't be disappointed. We are the people that serve part-time in the Ohio Army National Guard. We are your neighbors, co-workers, and friends. We are your sons and daughters, your brothers and sisters. We are the people you see in your community every day. While we serve part-time, we're learning valuable life and job skills that we can use in our civilian career. We get up to 100% of our tuition paid for at state colleges, so we can have an even better future. We are proud to serve both our country and our home state through every storm, every flood, every emergency that hits home here in Ohio. We are ready to respond and help our fellow Ohioans recover. We are every city, every small town, and every community. We are your Ohio Army National Guard. Learn more about part-time service with the Ohio Army National Guard at nationalguard.com/OH. Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station. Hi, it's Bruce Hooley with a reminder that Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank all my listeners for all your continued support. And to thank you, they're having an overstock, clearance, and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use the promo code BRUCE. And you get free shipping on your entire order. Free shipping, I said. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets, they're only $29.98. And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items, such as mattresses, toppers. It's all 100% made in the USA, on sale now for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from brand new kitchen towels, same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb. Also dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com and use the promo code BRUCE. Remember, you get free shipping on your entire order. So go to mypillow.com, promo code BRUCE. mypillow.com, code BRUCE. I've been driving trucks for a long time. Safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Hey, I know a lot of you wonder, like, what do you do, Bruce, when you leave the station every day? Well, here's one of the things that I do. I try to find someone, a friend or a new friend, who needs new flooring. Carpet? Do you need to redo your home because, hey, we're having a graduation party coming up in the spring, my kid's graduating? Tax refund, going to reinvest it in the home? I sell carpet and flooring for soft step carpet and flooring in Plain City. LVP, luxury vinyl plank. You want to look like wood? You want the mess, the week you have to be out of your house to put in hardwood? Soft Step Carpet and Flooring has been in business for over 25 years. It's owned by a first responder, wonderful guy, great friend of mine. He's allowed me to do that. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd love to hear from you today. You can go to brucehooley@gmail.com, brucehooley@gmail.com, or stop by the store this afternoon, 7804 East State Route 161 in Plain City, just down from Costco. Let me help you out. Reach out to me. You need new flooring? Soft Step Carpet and Flooring. I'm your guy. brucehooley@gmail.com. So I was updating you on segment number 1 about a protest last night, Thompson Park, North Side, 100 people from various social justice groups to protest the mistrial in the murder trial of former Sheriff's Deputy Jason Meade. Will they try him again? Well, these people definitely want that. But a mob's hopes are not a reason to prosecute someone again. And certainly if they couldn't convict Jason Meade the first time and there were complete opposite viewpoints on the jury, otherwise the judge would not have declared a mistrial in the first full day of deliberations from the 4th different jury because of alternates replacing people on the jury who were for some reason or other disqualified from serving. Then I think it shows they're going to have a hard time. But what I want to get into is this first comment in the story today in the Dispatch from a gentleman by the name of Raymond Obey, Executive Director of Justice, Unity, and Social Transformation, one of the organizers of the event, and he wants to see Jason Meade prosecuted. And he said, "We came out here today to say the system is failing us." And I said, he's right. The system is failing them. Not the police system. The whole attitude toward crime and what politicians emphasize and the insinuations and the outright accusations, the system is failing you, Raymond Obey, because I have names in my head of young Black boys and girls who have been murdered in this city over the last 3 years, who no one is gathering to protest the fact that people know stuff about these murders and won't say anything. Olivia Kurtz shot, almost 3 years ago, 16 years old, Bicentennial Park, going to a party. Was the party unauthorized? Yeah, doesn't matter. Shouldn't die for going to a party. Micaiah Bryant shot at a squirt gun party on a Far East Side City Park. Amira Truss shot in the head by her boyfriend. Now, obviously, they know who did that one. But how many of these cases are unsolved? Are you leaning on Zach Klein? Are you leaning on the Franklin County Prosecutor's Office to bring charges in these cases? You're protesting the death of Casey Goodson. Why are you not asking the question why Casey Goodson's 23 years old and feels like he has to have a gun to live in Linden and feel safe? The system's failing you. You're allowing it to fail you by protesting a narrative that's convenient, that has shown that since the George Floyd riots, when defund police became a thing, crime has skyrocketed all over America, not just here in Columbus, Ohio. You remember a guy 18 years old named Marshawn Davis No, you probably don't remember Marshawn Davis. I remember Marshawn Davis. 2 years ago, almost to this exact day, on February 18th, Marshawn Davis was minding his own business, standing inside a Roosters on 161. The restaurant's closed now. Why? Too violent. They don't want to do business over there anymore. Marshawn Davis standing inside the Roosters, gun down. Guy opens the door, shot him right there in front of everybody waiting to eat dinner at a Roosters. You shouldn't get murdered when you go to a sports bar trying to get some wings and a beer. Is there a protest for Marshawn Davis? Hey, you could have, Mr. Obi, Ms. Emily Cole with Action Fund of Ohio Families Unite Against Police Brutality. Sunday, the actual 2-year anniversary of Marshawn Davis's murder, might have been a good time for you to at least throw him in with Casey Goodson. I mean, they got a lot in common. Goodson's 23. Marshawn Davis was 18. Young black men. Now, the problem is Marshawn Davis doesn't fit the narrative. He wasn't shot by a Columbus police officer because Marshawn Davis wasn't brandishing a gun, which they found, by the way, under Casey Goodson's body. Marshawn Davis is a guy who's, he's not useful to your cause, which is really kind of a shame that you don't care enough, actually care enough. What happens more often, Raymond Obi? What happens more often, Emily Cole, that a black person in Columbus is shot by a police officer unjustifiably, or that a black person is shot and killed and that it's unsolved? What happens more often? It's at least 25-1 that the latter happens more often. And yet I never see a protest. You know who I see? You know who I hear from after these things happen? And it's sad. The only people who bring it back up are the families. Ma'Khia Bryant's family, every year they host something. They talk about Ma'Khia Bryant and how much she loved. Excuse me, it's not. No, Ma'Khia Bryant was the Mackenzie Ridley. I got Ma'Khia Bryant and Mackenzie Ridley. Ma'Khia Bryant was the girl who threatened another girl with a knife and was shot by a Columbus police officer. So she's a hero, right? Because she was threatening somebody with a knife. Mackenzie Ridley is the girl who was shot at the squirt gun party on the east side. And every year, only Mackenzie Ridley's family is the one who reminds us with photos of Mackenzie Ridley what an unbelievably captivating smile she had. The only ones who remind us of what an entrepreneurial mind she had. The only ones who remind us how she loved the color orange. They're the only ones. Like you in the justice community, you let these anniversaries pass unrecognized. They mean nothing to you. They certainly don't offer you the opportunity to gripe about violence in the inner city, which you insinuate is done randomly and wantonly by Columbus police officers. But then when you have a little 5-year-old boy who's apparently killed by his mother and stuffed down a storm drain, and Columbus police marshal every single force that they have, and upper level management officers are going without sleep for a day and a half and crawling down the sewer to find this kid, you can't even write a letter thanking them. And the Columbus Dispatch can't break loose somebody to write about what went into trying to find this young man. See, I'll defend your right to protest all day long. I disagree with what you're protesting, but I'll defend it. But I just wonder, why does one bother you and not the other?
And that's all the news. Our next comment. Already waterlogged, California is getting more rain this week, the result of another atmospheric river. Forecasters warn of the possibility of flooding, as well as mountains of snow in the higher elevations of the Sierra Nevada. Flags fly at half-staff in Minnesota today. The state mourns the death of 2 police officers and 1 paramedic They were fatally shot at the scene of a domestic dispute in the Minneapolis suburb of Burnsville yesterday. Retired Israeli General Benny Gantz, a member of Israel's war cabinet, warns an invasion of the key southern Gaza city, Rafah, is imminent. Meanwhile, Gaza's health ministry says more than 29,000 Palestinians have been killed in the territory since the start of the Israel-Hamas war, which began with the Hamas terror raid on southern Israel. Wall Street closed today in observance of President's Day. More details, srnnews.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. We've got over 30,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares. If your timeshare agreement goes on forever, if you were told timeshares are a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you have questions, we have the answers. At Wesley Financial Group, we're dedicated to helping timeshare owners get out of their financial nightmare. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-256-5533. That's 800-256-5533. 800-256-55. News, opinion, passion. Here, 98.9 FM. The Answer. Anywhere you go. With The Answer's mobile app at 98.9theanswer.com. Also on your smart speakers. Tune in or iHeart. Charlie Kirk sees more looking down on the voters.
Tom Phillips, our base cannot possibly know what's at stake at the level that any well-briefed U.S. senator should know about what's at stake in Putin wins. You guys are just too stupid, is what Tom Phillips is. You know, all of you that send emails and make phone calls, that pay your taxes, just stop trying.
The Charlie Kirk Show. Afternoons at 5, right before Brandon Tatum at 7. 98.9 The Answer.
This President's Day honors a legacy that shaped America with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. At AMAC, we celebrate the courage and leadership that built our nation. In honor of President's Day, enjoy our exclusive sale. Become a 5-year AMAC.
All right, we're going to talk a little national politics next.
35 5-year membership. Enjoy benefits tailored for
Including a story from Politico that makes me wonder if the people are right who say that some of the big donors in the Democratic Party are turning on Joe Biden. I'll believe it when I see it, but we may see it.
Seize the opportunity to be part of the community without doing the experience, wisdom, and principles that make America strong. Head to amac.us/president and secure your 5-year membership for $35 today. AMAC, better for you, better for America. Happy President's Day from the Association of Mature American Citizens. Visit amac.us/president now.
Hi, it's Bruce Hooley with a special message for Bruce Hooley Show listeners. Yes, the Bruce Hooley Show will continue to air from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday on 98.9 The Answer while I'm undergoing medical treatment. We'll have special guest hosts for you, and I will join them when I can on 98.9theanswer.com.
Yes, the Bruce Hooley Show will continue. It is continuing. And I'm continuing to tell you about great products from MyPillow.com. Mike Lindell, you know him, the MyPillow itself, revolutionized sleep. I sleep on a MyPillow. I love it. I sleep great. I sleep on a MyPillow mattress topper. I sometimes use MyPillow towels. The towels are phenomenal as well. Now, I know we had snow Friday night, and I know it was a lousy night for commuting, and I know it was like, oh, winter's really a thing after we got used to having pretty mild winter weather. But spring is around the corner, and with spring being around the corner, you know what else is around the corner? Wedding season and wedding gift giving season and graduation season. These kids who are graduating are going to be going to college, and they're going to need a great pillow to sleep on, or the people whose wedding you're going to are going to need great pillows to sleep on, or other MyPillow products. Check them out. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. MyPillow.com, promo code Bruce. So it's been about a week and a half since the special counsel Robert Hur's report on Joe Biden, saying that Joe Biden has applesauce for brains, and that's why they're not going to prosecute him. I might be summarizing that report a little bit more colloquially than special counsel Herb put it, but that was essentially the takeaway. Was that Joe Biden has, take your pick, applesauce or vanilla pudding for brains. And I've wondered ever since then, like, Robert Hur can't put that report out without his boss at the U.S. Justice Department, and that would be Merrick Garland, saying it was okay to put out that Joe Biden was, quote, an elderly man, a well-meaning elderly. I'm sorry, well-meaning elderly. He did drink the water in East Palestine, after all. A well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. Robert Hur couldn't have put that out unless Merrick Garland okayed it. And there are a lot of Dems, really mad at Merrick Garland for allowing that to be out. And I thought at the time, why are they allowing that to be put out? Why? And, you know, the conspiracy theorist in me, but what we've learned over the last, 2-3 years is that today's conspiracy theory is tomorrow's confirmed news report. Maybe they want him out and they're going to allow an inside job, you know, an et tu brute in the Democratic Party. Which brings me to this story that I saw today online from Politico. Now, Politico is not exactly Fox News. It's not exactly the Daily Wire. It's not exactly the Daily Caller. Okay, Politico is foursquare behind Joe Biden. All you got to do is watch Special Report with Brett Baer to find out the great lengths Olivia Beavers from Politico goes to not say anything bad about Joe Biden or the Biden administration. But Politico today comes out with a story, headline, lobbyist bought tropical land from Biden's brother. Now, Jim Biden is going to be before the House Select Committee this week, I believe. And this lobbyist is a guy named Scott Green. Now, you've seen Scott Green on TV, most likely, if you've ever watched NFL football, because Scott Green is an NFL referee. He's the guy who's on camera holding number 57. But he's also a big Biden guy. So I'm just going to read you the beginning of this story and select snippets from this story. Land in the Bahamas, purchased by this Scott Green guy, has remained vacant and undeveloped. It's not clear why lobbyist Scott Green purchased the parcel from Biden's brother James. By the way, James paid $150,000 for 3 parcels together, $150 total. And then Scott Green paid Jim Biden $150,000 for one of the parcels. So, shocker, these Bidens, man, they are, if you can get in on a Biden business deal, aside from the fact that you don't mind exposure to like a major federal crime, you might want to look into it because the profits are going to be staggering. So Jim Biden buys 3 parcels of land total for $150,000 in the Virgin Islands, and he sells one of them back to Jim Biden. And he finances the loan on the property to Jim Biden. Like Jim Biden doesn't have $150,000 laying around, burning a hole in his pocket from Burisma to buy this property. No, Scott Green has to give him a private loan on the property. This happened in 2005. The Virgin Island land deal, reported here in Politico for the first time, furthers a pattern which members of the Biden family have engaged in financial dealings with people with an interest in influencing the former vice president. Now, we all know this, right? We've heard this ad infinitum from James Comer, from Jim Jordan, from Andy McCarthy at National Review, at the Federalist with Molly Hemingway. We haven't heard it from Politico. More from the story. In this case, a Biden staffer left the Senate in early 1990s to become a lobbyist. So this is a guy who works for Biden in the Senate in the 1990s. He leaves to become a lobbyist. His name is Scott Green. He's the NFL official. Both before and after the land transaction, his clients benefited from Biden's support and appropriations requests. A firm the lobbyist Scott Green co-founded, which, by the way, on its website features a testimonial from Biden praising his emotional investment in his work. The firm specializes in federal contracts. I think a sitting U.S. senator might have anything to do with about where federal contracts go. specializes in federal contracts for niche law enforcement and national security programs for which Biden has long advocated. After the land deal, more from Politico, Biden vacationed elsewhere on the tiny island. And it says in this story that the Virgin Islands and this property has become a favorite vacation spot for the Biden family since 2005. So I don't have a smoking gun here, like certainly there exists with Tony Bobolinsky in front of the House Select Committee and Devin Archer in front of the Select Committee saying Joe Biden's the big guy and he's the brand and he's getting 10% of every deal. But what this tells me is that the people who have been propping up Joe Biden are now kicking the chair out from under Joe Biden, or at least willing to, in this case, it appears, practice real, actual journalism. Real, actual journalism. Now, I would not have expected that from Politico. But here's more from the story. This caught my eye in light of another news event that happened late Friday after we got off the air. It is not clear why the lobbyist, Scott Green, purchased the parcel from Biden's brother James, or why James Biden went to the lobbyist for a loan. An easement, which means you can come on my property to get to your property. An easement James Biden obtained granting road access to the land before selling it to Green may have made the land more valuable, but it is unclear whether the dramatically higher price Green paid for his parcel reflected its true value. So the lobbyist pays $150,000 for the property that Jim Biden, if you divide $150,000 by 3, because Biden got 3 properties, Jim Biden got 3 properties for $150,000, he sells the one to Scott Green for $150,000. And Politico says it is unclear whether the dramatically higher price Green paid for his parcel reflected its true value. Do we know anybody who got in trouble recently for supposedly inflating the true value of real estate? Oh, wait a second. Wasn't that what happened to Donald Trump on Friday? Yes, it is what happened to Donald Trump on Friday. When Judge Arthur Engeron in New York and activist Attorney General Letitia James of New York combined to ding the Trump organization more than $350 million and ban him from doing business in New York for 3 years, fined his sons, Don Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, more than $4 million each because they defrauded a bunch of banks out of money and returns on their loans. Did the banks marshal their forces and come before Letitia James and say, you got to do something about this Trump guy? Like, we're in business with him. We're building properties. We're building hotels. We're building casinos. We're building golf courses. And we're not getting our money back. No, that did not happen. Nevertheless, Letitia James and this corrupt judge fabricated a crime that did not exist, invented victims who would not come forward because there were no victims, because all the banks got their money. And Trump, and I assume this will get thrown out on appeal if there's any honest judges left at the federal appeals court level. Trump is now not allowed to do business in New York, and he's got to pay $350 million in damages. At least that's the verdict right now. Not because anybody came forward and complained, but because Letitia James doesn't like Donald Trump, and in fact made it a cornerstone of her campaign for New York Attorney General that she was going to go get Trump. Now, I have only been following politics closely for about 5 years. It was always my impression that when you ran on a law and order platform, you were running on a law and order platform, not on a get this person platform.
Mostly sunny this afternoon. The high today at 42. Over to partly cloudy skies tonight and below 24. Partly sunny day tomorrow. A much milder day. The high at 51. Mild again on Wednesday. Times of sun and clouds. High 55. Periods of rain. Looks like a breezy afternoon on Thursday. High Thursday afternoon 52. And then partly sunny, breezy. Just a bit cooler for Friday. The high 40.
Well, to quote Barack Obama, there are 50. Probably. No, I mean, the only people who think cases are complicated. I mean, Biden does make.
Okay, thank you.
And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items, such as mattresses and mattress toppers. It's all 100% made in the USA, on sale now for as low as $99.90. Everything is on sale, from brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb. So dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com and use the promo code Bruce. Remember, you get free shipping on your entire order. So go to mypillow.com, promo code Bruce. mypillow.com, promo code Bruce.
Wednesday, March 20th at the Lazy Chameleon in Powell. Mike Gallagher, Bruce Hooley, Jack Windsor, and special guests live on stage. All tickets include food, drink, meet and greet, and Q&A. Tickets are limited for this VIP event, sponsored in part by Adult and Teen Challenge Ohio. Details and tickets available now at 989theanswer.com.
Relief Factor is the daily supplement that helps your body fight back against pain. It's 100% drug-free. Relief Factor was developed by doctors searching for a better alternative for pain. Relief Factor uses a unique formula of natural ingredients to help reduce or eliminate the everyday aches and pains that you're experiencing, whether it's back, joint, muscle pain. Relief Factor can help you feel better. Unlike pills that mask the pain for a short time, and I've been there, done that, well, Relief Factor helps support the body's natural response to inflammation. Over 1 million people have tried the Relief Factor Quick Start Kit. Nearly 70% of people go on to order it again. So you see, Relief Factor is about living better. See how Relief Factor can help you with.
We'll say a little more on this Trump trial and the reaction to it politically when we come back. This will be the final segment that we'll do on live stream on my personal pages. You can catch the rest of the show on 9890 Answers Facebook page or the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page.
You know it works. Relief Factor.
We all know that your dollar doesn't go as far as it used
In
to.
commercial right now.
We
We'll be
want
back
you to know
soon.
about Key City Capital and how they believe their investments can offset the negative impact of this inflationary environment. I've gotten to know their team. They offer passive investments in cash-flowing real estate that can help offer a hedge against inflation and stock market volatility. When home prices and interest rates rise like they are now, many families delay home ownership and choose to rent. At the same time, Key City Capital owns thousands of rental units in the U.S. This allows them to offer attractive investments.
Too many remotes around here.
Cash-flowing income. Connect with the Key City Capital team and let them grow your wealth and diversify your investment portfolio. Go to keycitycapital.com/GORKA or call 817-912-1569. Key City compensates Dr. Gorka through its sponsorship of his show. For important information about Key City's relationship with Dr. Gorka, go to keycitycapital.com/Gorka.
Well, we got a great deal for you here through the half-price tuition program at 9890answer.com. You can get $5,000 off an Ohio Christian University scholarship. $5,000 off for just $2,500. So you spend $2,500, you get $5,000 off. Who's it apply to? New students starting at the OCU Circleville campus this fall. So fall of 2024. Now, upon graduation, is this something you'd like your kid to be able to do? Articulate a Christian worldview supported by a working knowledge of contrasting philosophies and religions. Wow. The ability to think and discern on their own, evaluate information, be an independent thinker? Yes. Confirm an understanding of a saving and sanctifying knowledge of God through Jesus Christ as Savior and Lord? Yes. Affirm the Bible is the only infallible guide for Christian faith and practice? Yes. All things you'll get through your tuition to Ohio Christian University. Half-price tuition program. Get $5,000 off. Spend $2,500 at 9890answer.com. So I said last segment, what's up with this Politico story? Part of the Biden team, part of the prop up Joe Biden at all costs. news media conglomerate out there, coming up with a story about a tiny island in the Virgin Islands where Jim Biden got a sweetheart land deal from a guy who used to work for Joe Biden. And then that guy gave Jim Biden a loan on the property. Why wouldn't Jim Biden be able to go to a bank and get a loan? Why would you have to be carried by the guy you're buying the property from? Oh, because Jim Biden's destitute? I don't think so. Looks like a little friendly inside deal, right? But the news is not really the news here. The news is that Politico is writing about it. They're committing actual journalism. So does this mean, in the wake of the special counsel's report, which, by the way, that phrase about Joe Biden being a well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory does not come out in the special counsel's report unless Merrick Garland says, yeah, you can put that in there as an explanation for why we're not going to prosecute Joe Biden. So is the house of cards around Joe Biden tumbling down? Well, here's a guy named Charlemagne the God, which, check your ego, my friend. Host of the Breakfast Club, which is a radio show that is very popular in Atlanta, and I'm assuming it's syndicated. Sitting down with Jonathan Karl of ABC. Charlemagne the God, he's been in the news before. He's somebody who's been a foursquare supporter of Joe Biden, and particularly Kamala Harris. So this guy doesn't have a high IQ if he thinks Kamala Harris is great. But here he is talking to Jonathan Karl about Joe Biden and what Charlemagne the God sees, maybe the Politico sees, maybe the other entities are starting to see with Joe Biden. Sure. So there's a lot in there. Charlemagne, not exactly the most searingly insightful political analyst when he says that Kamala Harris is great and that Joe Biden should lean on her. He could lean on a chair in the White House closet and get more out of leaning on the chair than he'd get on leaning on Kamala Harris. But he says he has no main character energy. Well, he's right about that, right? He's super right about that. So this is a topic broached this morning on Fox News with Dana Perino interviewing Congressman Debbie Dingell. Appropriate. Sounds like ding-a-ling, but it's Dingell. On the topic of Joe Biden's age. Now, Debbie Dingell is very upset at the Biden campaign team that they won't let Joe Biden do more things in public, which would prove that he has the mental acuity that people are doubting in the wake of Robert Hur's report. Listen to the first soundbite from Debbie Dingell. Nobody better than Joe Biden. She's with him 8 hours. He's sharp as a tack. And that they just need to let him get out there and be Joe Biden. Because privately, with her, he's phenomenal. Now, Dana Perino let Debbie Dingell go on, and then she'll interrupt her here and ask an important question, which If you listen carefully, you will notice Debbie Dingell does not answer.
The age of Donald Trump, which is only a couple of years younger, who's got 91 felony accounts against him and goes on rants that make no sense. The one that he did a week ago Saturday night.
Would you acknowledge, though, that
Go ahead.
President Trump presents as somebody that is fully with it, that has all the energy, despite the age? And we all know that people age at a different rate.
Very, very intense conversations. He was with it. Is that what Dana Perino asked? Let's go back and check. So she's asking Debbie Dingell to compare Joe Biden's energy level when he answers questions, when he's out in public, with Donald Trump. She said, hey, Trump presents like he's on top of it. So tell us, Debbie Dingell, compare Biden's energy level to Trump's. Make the case that Biden is not inferior to Trump when it comes to his cognitive sharpness and being able to process information quickly and being able to answer questions and think on his feet. That's what Debbie Dingell's asked. Does Debbie Dingell answer that question? Now, if you're going to make a statement comparing two men, and that's what she's asked to do, you kind of have to at least involve both of the men in your assessment. Does she say the first syllable about Donald Trump? Yes, I see Donald Trump on the campaign trail. She could say this, and I don't find him to be on top of the issues at all. Now, she'd be lying, but she would at least be answering the question. Why will she not answer the question? Because she knows the answer to the question. She knows the American people are not stupid enough to fall for her denials that Trump is not sharp. After all, she's not on Joe Biden's payroll like Karine Jean-Pierre or Ian Sams or any of the other lying fools that are telling us every single day that we should not believe our lying eyes when it comes to Joe Biden being addled and infirm. So the more they don't answer this question, the more they answer the question, right? Like if you won't address the question, there's only one reason. It's because you're afraid to answer the question. You can't lie your way out of it, which when you say a Democrat can't lie their way out of something, imagine how stacked the evidence must be for them to not even try to lie their way out of it. I will do it for today's first hour. You can catch the second hour at 9890answer.com's Facebook page, the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page. If you need flooring, I'll be in the store this afternoon, just down from Costco on 161, or call me, or rather email me, brucehooley@gmail.com. I haven't talked yet on the show today about Riverbend Ranch steaks. Best steak you'll ever eat. No hormones, no antibiotics, USDA Choice and Prime. It's a subscription club. You don't have to order every month. You can order every other month. And that's not because it's too expensive. It's less expensive than Butcher Box, than Moink, than Omaha Steaks, than Good Ranchers. They don't control their cattle. They don't have any idea really how the cattle have been cared for. They're buying them from a whole bunch of different ranches. Riverbend Ranch Steaks is one ranch. One ranch. Now, the ranch is humongous. It's in Montana. It's in Idaho. It's in Wyoming. It's in Texas. It's all over the place. But they built their own processing plant so they don't have to stress the cattle by shipping them to market. You're not getting dairy cattle that are butchered because, they're not giving milk anymore, or they're male Holsteins, which obviously can't give milk. So with Riverbend Ranch Steaks, you're getting the absolute best steak. Prime, USDA, and Choice, top two cuts, great marbling. No hormones, no antibiotics ever. Go to riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. riverbendranchsteaks.com/Bruce Hooley. And check it out. I order every month. Meat's phenomenal. I think you'll love it too. All right. See you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it very much.
I'll continue to watch.